Hello there, my lovely darkling. It's your fave witch Shamila Anahata back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit more different. I have been getting many requests on Instagram and other platforms like that of people who want to not only see my clothes, my style, but my makeup. As you can tell, I'm not really wearing much makeup today, which is perfectly fine. I don't wear makeup every day. It's one of my arts though, so I love to apply it. So right now I just have my foundation on, a few of my creams, my contour, and my highlights with some blush as well. And I am setting my under eye because I would like to do a get ready with me with you all today. I want to show you a little bit of how I do my neutral gold eyeshadow. I like to do that as an everyday type look. I understand that a lot of people like to do it a little bit more natural, have something not only neutral but not as dark or deep. But I'm a gothling. I'm into goth pinup. I'm into all that type of stuff. So I like to make it nice and bold and witchy. So I want to show you all today a little bit of how I do my everyday type eyeshadow. It's not an official tutorial. I would just like to talk about some things, and why not put on my makeup as I do that. So I'm going to start off with putting on my eyeshadow. I usually use the contour palette from Glam Goth Beauty. It is called the Dark Renaissance contour palette, I believe, and I love this. I've had it for about a year now, and I love this. I use it not only for my contouring as a powder, but I like to use it as the browns and the other dark neutrals in my eyeshadow that I like to use. And I also use this for blush, so it's everything for me, and it's everything for a lot of people as well. And I also like to use, when it comes to the gold eyeshadow, I use at the center of my eyelid. I was going to say eyeball, but eyelid. It is Golden Skies by Jolie Beauty. I usually like to use it. There's a ton of different types of golds, shimmers, and things like that, and browns and neutrals as well. But as you can tell, Golden Skies, it has a lot of wonderful gold colors that I absolutely love. It's great for the summer. I usually use a lot of these different types of golds for the summer, the summer. But there's a specific type of gold that I think really makes my skin pop that I like to use for my neutral eyeshadow, my everyday eyeshadow. So let us get started in just a second. I also want to mention that as I'm getting ready and as I do my eyeshadow for you all today, maybe even my lips, let's see how I feel. But I want to talk about shadow work. That is something I talk about very often on my pages and just in my work as well. I'm all about inner work, self-reflection, looking at yourself in a mirror so you can understand what is lurking underneath your subconscious mind so you can release old habits and replace them with new, better ones. And speaking of inner work, shadow work, delving deep into your darkness, and reflecting on yourself, I want to share something that just happened right now. After what I just said last, before I cut off my camera, I learned some new things about myself. It's just so wild how in this split second, in an instant, you can learn so much about yourself from something so small. And I'll share that with you all in just a second. So once again, I'm going to break out my contour palette from Glam Goth Beauty, her Dark Renaissance palette. And once again, I've had this for a year, so a lot of them are really used. And what I like to use for my crease right in the center to start everything off is, which one do I use? I believe it's called So Baroque. I love that. I love that so much, So Baroque. So I'm going to take my fluffy brush, dip that on into So Baroque, and put that directly into my crease right here. And I will show you all along the way. So once again, this is not an official tutorial or anything like that. I am just getting ready with you all and talking about whatever. And this is really about shadow work, but once again, I need to tell you all what just happened. So after my last thing of what I said about shadow work and how I'm really into self-reflection and all those types of things, I received a phone call from my bank. And that is not the issue, by the way. I called my bank because I just opened up an IRA account because I'm really into financial wellness, financial health. You already know I'm a holistic lifestyle coach. I'm a holistic life coach. I'm into holistic wellness and all those types of things. And when it comes to holistics, finances is one of them. It's not just about mind, body, and spirit. It's about your environment. It's about your social life. It's about your finances. It's about everything. And so I decided to call my bank because I wanted to understand the transfer situation that I've been a part of the past month or so. So I called a few times over the past month and have been getting the runaround from my original bank and the bank that I decided to open up the IRA account. And you know, it'd be like that sometimes. It's not always going to be the easiest type situation, especially since I'm still in the middle of, or still in the process of, or am learning very well how to deal with investments and all those types of things. So I've just been financially educating myself along the way. And so I feel like I've just been told one thing and tossed to another person and been told another thing. And that gets very frustrating no matter how far you are along on your self-development or self-mastery journey. And I was talking once again to an associate. I can tell that they could hear that there is a little bit of confusion and frustration in my voice. Of course, I like to be very kind and warm to people no matter what. I don't like to be rude to people who are servicing me because I've been there before. I understand how it's like to work for people or to work with people or customers or guests who are upset at the messenger. And so I decided to once again ask a few questions, and I had to give this woman my bank account number for the other bank. And before I get to that, I'm going to be putting in sculpture. Once again, it's very, very used because I also use this for darkening up the crease color, but also for my contour, my cheeks, my forehead, my chin, my jawline, and I believe that's it. I just use that to warm up all these shadows on my face. So I'm going to be dipping my fluffy brush once more into sculpture to darken up my crease right here. So I understand that she is not against me. She's not trying to hurt me. The bank is not trying to hurt me. So as much as I was keeping my cool, because I'm all about emotional wellness, emotional fitness, and emotional control, I was letting her know that I was confused about the whole situation. I don't understand how I've been told so many things and that it could have been simpler. She told me a situation, she told me a way in which it could have been simpler, and that really frustrated me. I didn't show her, she probably felt it energetically, but I was so confused as to how it could also be that simple when I've been told that I had to honestly do the absolute most in order to have this transfer done from my traditional bank to my IRA account. So she let me know it could be simpler. She was going to help me make it a simple process. And as you know, I am in the middle of filming a video. It's winter here in Baltimore, Maryland. The sun is going to be setting in about an hour. I want to have all the light I can so I can make some content for you all. So I wanted to hurry up this process. I wasn't rushing her or anything. I was being patient. However, I knew that I didn't have much time. I really wanted to do this rather than being on the phone with my bank. So luckily she made it seem like it was going to be easier. I was all for it. And I tried to find all the information I could for my other bank account, my IRA account, the bank that I had for my IRA account. And I had the information right there from the original transfer I tried to do. By the way, I am now just blending with a few of my fluffy brushes. I like to blend as much as possible. That's what I feel like my secret is, or my favorite thing to do with eyeshadow to make sure that it looks like one cohesive color is to blend. I have a few brushes that I use to blend. So this one's more of a eyeshadow type crease brush. This one is a fluffier brush that I use for pretty much everything. So I'm going to be blending, 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 and you'll be seeing me do that along the way. So I was trying to figure out what the account number was and everything. And I had a paper out that showed me the information I used for my IRA account to be able to make a transfer, the transfer I made originally a few months ago, about a month ago. And so when I was trying to find the information, I didn't realize that I had the account number right there, but I had to get off the phone with this bank woman, the woman from the bank, because I didn't see the account number on the paper. So I hung up on the phone. I didn't hang up angrily. I can tell she was like, all right, bye. Not dealing with this. Even though I feel like I was pleasant, I wasn't being rude. I was just clear that I'm frustrated. This is annoying. I'm still trying to figure things out. What is the next step? So I was very frustrated that it was an easier process, that I could have just done that the whole time, and that while I have someone on the phone to do the easier task of that, to do the easier process of that, I was not able to find the information. But as soon as we hung up and we got off the phone, I saw the account number plain as day on the picture I took of my account number on the IRA account. And that irritated me. That irritated me to high heaven, you all. I'm usually someone that likes to be poised, that likes to be calm, that likes to sit with their emotions and let them fleet. But the frustration was so great, I couldn't help but react. As soon as she hung up, I saw plain as day the account number that I was looking for while on the phone with her, because she didn't have time. She has other people to take. I was waiting in line already. Luckily, they called me back because when their lines are overflowing with people and customers, they call you back, they give you a call back. And so I luckily was able to get a call back. So when she hung up and I saw plain as day that I saw the account number, I was like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. No. So I was like, oh no. I was livid. And it was hard for me to sit with those emotions. I wanted to get up. I wanted to walk around. I wanted to pace. I wanted to like punch the wall. I wanted to freak out. And that's what happens when we don't really sit with our emotions very well. When our emotions are so great because they feel so real, you want to get up and you want to react. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Something that I don't do very often because of all the shadow work and inner work that I do. So when I noticed that, because obviously that's a very irritating situation for anybody, especially busy folk and people who just want to invest, I was like, wow, what is happening right now? I'm freaking out. I'm literally freaking out. I'm squirming in my seat. My armpits are sweating. I'm literally like vocalizing how angry I am. And my head is swimming. My thoughts are all over the place. My body feels hot. What is happening right now? And it's all because I knew that if I called back, which I actually did shortly after, I called back, the lady wasn't available. I had to wait in line again, something I did not want to do. And that really made me even more angry, to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm hanging up. I want to do this video right now. I want to take a breath, which I did. The emotions are still there, very fresh. But as I'm talking to you all right now, I'm realizing what made me react the way I did. And now that I've blended out the darker color of Sculpture on top of So Baroque, I'm going to go in with this darker brown called Chiseled. And that's going to be the darker color that I'm going to use as I blend outward. So I'll put it right here. I like to make sure my eyeshadow is, I'll actually demonstrate it right now. So I'm dipping into my Chiseled with a smaller tip brush. And I am patting it once again in my crease. I have slightly hooded eyes, so I like to do it slightly above my crease. And I bring it a little bit inward from the outer corner and the inner corner almost as if I'm surrounding my lid, because I would like the color, the lid color, to be right in the center so everything can look a little bit darker and more smoky. So yes, going back to what I was saying, I'm realizing, and how I'm sitting with it right now, doing my shadow work, asking myself multiple questions, sitting with how I'm feeling, identifying how I'm feeling, pinpointing where it could possibly come from in my life. And what I'm feeling right now is, what I'm really feeling right now is not only the impatience of wanting something done, even though I've been very patient during this process. Once again, I've been waiting for this transfer for about a month, since late October, and as I mentioned before, it feels like I've been getting the runaround, and I feel like that's a lot of where it's coming from. I feel like I'm being taken for a ride. I feel like not being that I've been taken advantage of. I've been giving false information. I feel like people have been taking advantage of my, I don't want to say lack of education, but my lack of understanding how this process goes. And I don't like that feeling. It makes me feel confused. It makes me feel lost. It makes me feel helpless, powerless. It makes me feel frustrated. And it makes me feel like I have no control over the situation. And I'm realizing that it really feels like it comes from a childhood wound. It feels like it's coming from a place of having to rely on someone who does not have your best interest at heart. You not really understanding a subject so well, and you being taken for a ride because it's convenient for that person. Just being pawned off to another person because they don't want to deal with the situation. Being told anything just so they can continue on with their day. Understandable, but not fair to me. It feels like I am wasting my time, because it feels like I'm just too busy for this right now. I don't want to be given the runaround when I have content to create, when I have clients to service, when I have inner work to do. It feels wrong. It feels like I'm just being tossed about, and I don't like that feeling. And now what I'm going to be putting into my lid, this is my palette. Once again, I've had this for about 2 years. And in the center of my lid, I'm going to be putting on Glint. This neutral type golden color right here. I love this color. It gives me the pin-up-y look, the vintage old Hollywood glamour look that I like. So I'm going to be dipping my flat eyeshadow brush into that. And it really just feels like I'm not being serviced correctly. It feels like I feel like just a number. And I know that a lot of us don't like that feeling. We want to be told the right information for obvious reasons, but I don't like feeling like just any other number. And I'm not going to pretend that I am special when it comes to being serviced by bigger institutions or banks especially. But it frustrates me because I want this to be done and over with. And it's more than just me not wanting to be a number and wanting to be taken care of. It's just the fact that I'm trying to learn right now. I'm trying to learn everything I can. I'm trying to invest my money. I'm trying to have my money compound in a bank account, in an interested bank account. And it feels like there's a wall there. And that wall is all the misinformation I've been receiving over the past month of trying to figure out this transfer situation. And I don't appreciate that. And of course, once again, when situations like this happen, we have every right to be frustrated and upset about it. But I do have to realize, and we as people who want to grow and expand, it's not the bank that's angering me. It's not the bank account situation that's angering me. Something is flaring up a wound inside of me. That's what happens when things like this happen. So I'm going to go back into chiseled with my smaller brush and going back over my crease, and I will blend from there. So once again, now that I put glint, the gold color in the inner corner of, not the inner corner, but inside on top of my lid, I'm going to go over the darker color, the browns, on the outer corner and on the inner corner, and I will be blending from there. So yes, we have to realize that when we're triggered by situations like this, by circumstances like this, it is not the circumstance most of the time. Of course, we have every right to feel upset and angry. We have to work through those feelings because they will come and they go. So we have to work with those feelings. We must, we shall. I'm just going to blend that once more. So when we have a wound similar to a scab, if we scrape ourselves and have a scab and we accidentally bump ourselves or bump our arm or bump the scab or the wound into a specific place, into like on the table or something like that, it's going to hurt. It's going to feel some type of way. You're not going to not notice that. It's going to make itself known, like, ouch, that burns, ah, don't do that again, please. So that's what emotional wounds are like, our triggers are like. It might not be an exact situation that has happened to us before, but it'll be in a different situation that will let you know that a wound is still there. Something that is unhealed within our psyche or in our subconscious mind is still there. And it is up to us to feel it and let those emotions be a guidepost to what is going on internally, what is lurking on in our subconscious mind. So I'm going to go in with the black and go over where I put the brown, the chiseled in my crease. And so I'm realizing there is a wound there. There is something happening there. And I need to figure out what it is. And even though it's not really apparent now, I will definitely be writing in my journal about this, because that is something that we should do when it comes to shadow work. We should definitely journal out how we're feeling. And we can, of course, say things out loud, but when you journal it, you are almost like you're letting it out, because when you're journaling, you are word salading, word vomiting onto paper, and that energy feels so released. And it is another way of letting your emotions just be seen and allowing yourself to understand what is going on in your head. Because saying it out loud, yes, that is very helpful. But when we react in our journal, when we spill everything in our journal, rather than reacting to a person, rather than me yelling at this woman, rather than me being rude to her, once again, I was not rude to her, but she could feel and she could understand that I was not enthused by being given the runaround for the past month or so. I know it's not her fault. I've been there before, but I could tell she felt it. She definitely felt it. And of course, I like to be kind, warm, and generous to people. But at this point, when it comes to institutions like this, grinning and bearing it is okay, but I want to be authentic. I don't want to put a smile on my face or pretend that I'm joyous about that situation. I want her to know that I'm not pleased, because being fake in that situation is not helping me either. Of course, we want to be positive, kind, and light to people, and that's great. And with emotional control and with healing that wound, in the future, I will be that type of person. But it doesn't always help us to put on a mask, and every time we interact with people, if you're not happy, you don't have to pretend you're happy. If you're not sad and you feel the pressure to be sad around people who are lower vibration, lower energy, don't pretend that you're sad along with them. So I was basically letting her know, especially with my energy, I was not pleased by the situation, and I'm going to go back into my glint color and putting that back over my lid right here on the center of my lid. So once again, when you journal your feelings, you are allowing yourself to reflect back to you what is going on internally. You're being unhinged, not unhinged, but you could be unhinged if you wanted to. But you are being uninhibited. No one's listening to you. It is just you and God, you and the universe, you and divine source. So you were able to communicate with yourself and see what's lurking underneath your subconscious mind, so you're not confused about how you're feeling. So I cannot wait to to journal about what's happening, so I can continue this shadow work practice. And going back in with black right here, and once again going into my crease and blending. Actually, let me blend already, since actually no, I'll blend after I'm done with the black. So yes, journaling is a great way to begin your shadow work practice. Just to know what's happening inside of you, in your mind, but also to ask yourself questions, get yourself to the nitty-gritty of where this wound came from. And although I'm just doing this very raw in front of you all today, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the wounding I'm feeling, maybe the feelings I'm feeling might change by the time I get to my journal later. And that's very okay. I'm very okay with that. And I'm very okay with sharing with you all how I'm feeling right now. Because it is important for us to not only just be vulnerable, but it is okay for us to show how we're feeling at every moment. And speaking of vulnerability, when things happen and when they're fresh and raw, my battery just got filled up as I was talking about that. Not very unusual. Once again, I'm just blending. Not very unusual, but it just goes to show how your energy affects things. And shadow work really helps you understand how to correct our energy, how to course correct. Because we know where we want to go. We know exactly what we want to go, where we want to be, who we want to be. And shadow work allows us to reroute. It allows us to figure out what the address is on our GPS app of life. And when we have setbacks like this, when that affects our energy, because our vibration, our frequency, all those types of things really truly affect how the mood, the tone of everything that we do, even what we attract in our lives. But it also reminds you to fix your energy. It reminds you to fix your energy right quick. And that told me to fix my energy. Even though I have been talking for a while, and I do understand why my battery filled up, to me that was a sign. It doesn't fill up that quickly in my opinion. So to me that was a sign that, girl, breathe it out. You already let out your feelings. It's good that you were vulnerable. Feel as much as you need to, but it is time to understand what's up so you can release that wound, whatever that may be, and create better habits, better mindsets, better thought systems, better beliefs, and better characteristics in its place. Because clearly there's something that I had to let go of in order for me to reach my new embodiment, something that I've been really working on the past month or so. So this was divine. All of this was divine. So now that I am done with the top part, I'm going to use this little fluffy brush here and go under or below my bottom lid with chiseled, and then I will go over that with sculpture so it can give me a little bit more of a smoky brown effect at the bottom of my lid. But yes, it really shows you how, once again, our energy is everything. Energy really is everything. And it really does help you stop and reflect. Like, what vibration am I emitting right now? What frequency am I emitting to the universe right now? What is divine hearing from me? How am I communicating with divine right now? Because right now, although I allow myself to feel as much as I need to, and luckily for me, once again, I just went in with chiseled, and now I'm going back in with sculpture to blend out the darker brown. So now that I understand how I'm feeling, now that I know that that situation angered me. And maybe it could also be that I was just still very angry and have some things to reflect on a little bit more. Perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine with me. But when that happened, when I saw that my battery was filled and I had to go downstairs and empty out my battery case on my computer and things like that, I almost didn't even feel anything at that point. I feel like not only because I've been through that before, but I feel like my body was like, you know what? That's enough reaction for today. Not everything can frustrate you every time. Then luckily I'm very cool, calm, and collected in the face of a lot of things that are frustrating. But either way, this was divine because I'm just gonna blend it out. Either way, this was so divine because now I know what I need to work on within myself. This is not a situation where I'm going to curse out the bank. This is not a situation where I'm going to blame everyone involved in this situation. This is not a situation where I'm going to try to put out all these fires and just keep hounding the bank and all those types of things. This is not the situation for that. This was merely a situation to show me that I have something to work on with my inner work and shadow work practice, which is so much fun for me. And also that I have that my emotional reactions can be felt, because she felt it. And she didn't see me react. She did not see me react at all, because once again, I don't like to show my anger in that way. And she could feel my energy. And that probably was very intimidating for her. And I understand that. I've been there. And that also showed me that maybe I'm just doing the most. Maybe I need to slow down a little bit more, because you already know I'm all about feminine energy. Being in my feminine energy. Slowing down, resting, being graceful, patient, calm, relaxed, romanticizing my life, making sure that I'm joyful, prioritizing my pleasure. And I do that a lot, but it also was my bad for trying to do my makeup and know that I had to be on the phone with the bank. So I probably could have called the bank tomorrow, but I wanted to get it done now, y'all. I wanted to get it done right now. I didn't know that they were going to call during this video, and I probably still would have answered. But I wanted to make this video more. I wanted to make this video more. So I probably could have just called them back tomorrow. Even though this was a great opportunity, I feel like deep down, even though I was still upset about the situation, about knowing my information right when I got off the phone with a busy bank worker, but at the same time though, I'm trying to juggle figuring out my bank situation, and I'm trying to juggle creating content, which I already know is a lot for me sometimes. So of course we don't have to always choose. We can do it all and have it all. But in that situation, two things that were going to possibly stress me out, I could have chosen one over the other. So although both situations, me doing content could possibly have been stressing me out, me talking to a bank worker and being frustrated at the situation could have been the thing that stressed me out. But no matter what, doing both at the same time is going to send anyone into a frenzy, especially if they have wounding in those areas, which I definitely do now that I know. So this was divine. I was supposed to know about this wounding. I was supposed to know that this would have been an issue for me. This is something that I need to do inner work and shadow work with. And that I can't juggle two things that stress me out at the same time. Sometimes it's okay to slow down. Actually, all the time it's okay to slow down. Because I can do my video, and if the time permits, I can call the bank back. Or vice versa. Maybe I could have called the bank and done content another day. But I'm so in the mood for it today, I did not want to put this off to another day. So it really shows you that inner work happens, shadow work happens in the moment. You're not just going to sit down and blab everything on paper. Meditate and talk to your inner child about your past wounding or your past fears or anything like that. Or affirm the new qualities that you want to have. Or do your 21 questions internally of the things that you want to understand or uncover within your subconscious mind. Inner work and shadow work happens in the moment. When you're present, when you're mindful, when you're conscious, when you're aware enough, you'll understand how you're feeling, how a certain situation made you feel. You're not going to blame the situation. You're not going to blame the person. They are not responsible for how you feel. We are responsible for how we feel. We uncover the wounding. We lurk in our subconscious mind. We reflect back to ourselves what we're truly thinking and feeling, and allow our feelings to be a teacher, allowing them to guide us in the right direction of what is going on up here. It is our responsibility. So this was supposed to be a video of me showing you my eyeshadow routine. I will show you the finished product very shortly, because if I did everything right now, it would take forever, and there's 30 minutes of sunlight left. I would like to make more content on top of that. But this was divine, because I was just going to show you, or I was going to tell you all the shadow work tactics that I like to use and all those types of things as I was going along, even talking about a little bit of feminine energy type things. But this reflection is feminine energy. This situation is feminine energy, because I'm allowing myself to slow down, tap in, feel as much as I need to, reflect, and embody the person I want to be. And I technically went through my shadow work process at a very small aspect with you all today. So yes, I'm happy that this happened while I was doing this video, because now I know what I need to work on. Now I showed you all what it feels like to be vulnerable and what shadow work truly means. Now that I know that, I do need to be more in my feminine energy when it comes to creating my things, because juggling too many things at once, especially when I know that they make me feel a certain type of way, not going to have a good time. So yes, I will show you all my finished makeup look very shortly. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe for more content, visit me at thesoulfulveganista.com to check out my services, and comment down below. What is your shadow work practice? Have you been in a situation similar to mine before? I would love to know. Much love, and until next time, my lovely darkling. Bye-bye.